Hey YouTube, Texas Redleg here. I want to talk about a couple of things on this video. It'll be short and sweet. Number one, I'm not a YouTuber per se. I'm just kind of getting into it. I've been watching a lot of other videos for years. There's a lot of good stuff out there. A lot of people that are smart, practical, and you should listen to them. One of the things I want to talk about is this anti-police culture that's been cultivated for years by the left. Um, the scary part about that is that we're going to probably end up with no cops or lower standard cops, to be honest. As a former member of law enforcement, I completely understand where the police are coming from, the threats against them and their families. It's a dangerous time to be a cop, maybe the most dangerous in our history. Don't blame them a single bit. They got to make their own choices, but people need to be prepared for slower response times, for emergencies, and dealing with their own problems. Especially in big cities like take Dallas for example, they're 800 to 1,000 cops short, so they're maxed out. They're running on fumes. They are at their wits' end, I'm quite sure. So take that into consideration. Try to support the police if you agree with them. They need our support. And also be prepared to handle your own business if it calls for it. Another thing to be concerned about, obviously I'm not, I'm probably preaching to the choir, but this gun control, you know, thing that's going on out there. These leftists primarily want the population to be unarmed. I mean, they can do what they want if they don't have any resistance. So I'm sure it's not only the politicians and the left; it's probably the cartels and the sleepers that are here. A lot of them know that they don't stand a chance against an armed society. So, gun control is a big part of the left taking control of this country and the people. Be smart about your weapons. Be smart about who you tell. Don't talk about them. Keep your business private. Have a backup plan. What are you going to do if they come for them? You got to be prepared for stuff like that. Another one is I'm worried about is the gangs and cartels. Obviously, people were talking about this latest murder, mass murder actually of a family in Mexico. And people are, talking about, well, we don't want the cartels to come here. Well, I can guarantee you that there's remnants already here, okay? Not just MS-13 out of South America, but, there's some heavy hitters already here. And I'm sure they're just licking their chops, loving this anti-gun movement and having the citizenry unarmed. I'm sure that would just be right up their alley. So be vigilant about that. I don't know about you people, but I'm not giving anything up, regardless of what laws are passed. So keep that in mind. Do what you got to do. Another thing I'm worried about, obviously, with the upcoming 2020 election is civil unrest, anarchy. A lot of the people that are driving this anti-police culture will be the same ones that are looting and burning and protesting against a likely Trump 2020 victory. So I would encourage you to, be supportive, but also be aware of your surroundings. Use a little risk management in your daily routine. Keep a low profile. There's no reason to be, out there, beating the drum necessarily. I kind of like to observe and use the available intelligence that's happening at the moment to benefit me and assist me in making my plans and arrangements on what to do, where to go, what's important, what's not important. So just keep that in mind with regard to civil unrest. Financial collapse. That's a huge one, I think, especially if Trump doesn't get reelected. There's no telling how bad this thing's going to fall apart. I would encourage you to increase your bartering items. Have things that you can trade. Have a lot of small bills. I'm not sure about gold and silver. Not really my thing. I've been looking into it, but there are a lot of people that are into precious metals and things like that, jewelry, gold, blah blah blah, diamonds. You know, good things to barter are like liquor, medicines, tobacco products, things like that. So you might increase your supply of that type of material for financial collapse. Another thing is obviously an epidemic. Make sure you and your family are up to date on your shots. Make sure you have, you know, antibiotics on hand. Make sure you have things that can protect you regarding possibly like respirators for heavy flu outbreaks, things like that. At least have like some little N95 respirator mask that you can protect your lungs with on your nasal passages and things like that. So you know, make sure you're up to date on shots. Make sure you have things that first aid and medications, pain reliever, things like that can help you and your family. Obviously, natural disasters is something that always occurs around here, around the U.S., coast to coast actually. Floods, fires, tornadoes, earthquakes. A lot of you people have dealt with this stuff, so you know how that can affect your life. You know that what you need to keep on hand to help you get through a situation. So, you know, I encourage you to tell other people about what works, what doesn't work. This is all, it should all be a learning experience for everybody, especially for the unknown, you know, going forward. There's a lot of people that just don't know. And so that takes me to the 5 areas that I particularly used in my preps. And I'm just going to give you my 5. Again, you know, they're not in any particular order. A lot of people have a different top 5, top 10, whatever. My biggest thing right now that I pay attention to is water. Clean water to drink and to bathe with and to clean with. And the ability to filter water, so water filtration systems. There's a lot of different products out there. There's bleach, there's boiling, there's the iodine tablets, there's all kinds of things that you can sanitize water with. I would encourage you to research those items and those methods. Weapons and ammo. There's lethal weapons, non-lethal weapons. You know, I prefer lethal weapons, you know, pistols, shotguns, rifles. There's also non-lethal weapons, you know, batons, pepper spray, tasers. You know, if you're gonna, you know, be into the lethal side of things, using a firearm, obviously, you know, get trained on how to use it. If you don't, know how to maintain it, know how to clear jams safely. Make sure you stock up on magazines and ammunition. You know, having an unloaded gun does you about no good at all. So keep that in mind. Always, you know, outfit yourself correctly. And not only having a gun, you know, just having a gun doesn't keep you safe. You got to be able to be willing to use it. So, you know, beware, if you pull that thing, you got to be able to use it, and that bullet can't come back. So, excuse me, be sure that you're prepared for that. The third thing is shelter. And I put shelter and fire together because they kind of go hand in hand. Shelter could be anything from the home that you live in now, to a cabin, to a barn in a field, to a tent, to the vehicle you drive. So you need to have some type of shelter to get out of the elements. You know, a lot of people have different opinions on that. I'm of the opinion that I like to stay light, so I don't want to carry a whole bunch of weight on my back. You know, if I have to flee in a vehicle or a boat or something, I want to be able to carry enough stuff where if I have to put it on my back and go, I can go. So I kind of have 2 different avenues that I take with regard to prepping and stocking materials. I have a set that is like vehicle size, you know, in bins and things like I throw in a vehicle and go. And I also have packs that are very inconspicuous that I can just throw on my back and go. So I've got a mobile set, particularly geared to the vehicle transportation side, and also have a, you know, an on-foot set, which is basically a bag that can go on my back. And you don't want to be overloaded, so don't go crazy getting a 100-pound backpack, because you're going to walk about 50 feet and fall over, and somebody's going to kill you and take your stuff. So, you know, keep that in mind. You want to be light, you want to be mobile. You just want to pick the right things to put in that pack. Food. You know, food is critical. I would encourage people to rely more on, as far as prepping and bugging out, if that's what it comes to use more of a ration bar type thing with regard to what you carry. You can't carry a bunch of canned goods in a backpack. I mean, you can carry a few, but excuse me, that's a lot of weight. It's going to drag you down. You need to have the ability to hunt, to fish, to forage, to grow a small garden if you can. There's things that, you know, you just have to know how to do. And if you don't, there's plenty of places you can get research and get trained up on this. People with skills are usually happy to teach others if they're willing to learn. So don't be afraid to reach out to people that may know something you don't. And the fifth actual final thing that I recommend and that I practice is medicine collection and first aid. So obviously, if you have regular meds that you take, high blood pressure, whatever, you need to have some of those on hand. I would say 60 to 90 days at a minimum. Pain reliever. Don't forget about dental things, you know, Oragel or pain reliever for your teeth, dental floss, you know, regular ibuprofen, acetaminophen. First aid regarding wounds, be able to clean a wound and dress it. You know, you need some gauze, you need some antiseptic, you need some tape. There's certain things that you need. Don't be afraid to throw in like some splint material, like some popsicle sticks or things like that you can actually splint a broken finger with, or what have you. Wound wash, things like that. So there's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of areas. Again, my 5 areas are water, weapons and ammo, shelter and fire, food, and then medicine and first aid. Those are the areas that I focus on, and in my prepping / you know, hoarding lifestyle. And again, this is something that's new to me. I'm not used to YouTubing, so we'll see how it goes. I'm not saying a lot of things that other people haven't said. I certainly don't know it all, but I just wanted to share my actual you know, loadout and what I typically focus on with regard to the unknown and going forward. So all the best, and I'll be back later with some more videos. Thanks.